In December 1980, U.S. military personnel stationed at RAF Woodbridge in Suffolk, England, reported seeing a triangular craft land in the forest outside the base. They approached it. They touched it. One of them sketched it. A lieutenant colonel filed an official report describing the incident in detail. The British government was notified. The files were classified. For years, the Ministry of Defense denied anything had happened. Then the documents were released. And what they revealed was more unsettling than the story itself. This is the Rendlesham Forest incident, the most credible UFO encounter in history. It was the early hours of December 26, 1980. Staff Sergeant Jim Penniston and Airman John Burroughs were on patrol outside RAF Woodbridge when they saw strange lights in the forest. They were told to investigate. What they found was not a crashed aircraft or weather balloon. It was a structured craft, roughly triangular, covered in strange symbols, hovering just above the ground. Penniston approached it. He touched the surface. He described it as smooth, like glass, warm to the touch. He sketched the symbols he saw on the hull in his notebook. The craft then rose slowly and disappeared at speed. The encounter lasted approximately 45 minutes. The following night, the deputy base commander, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt, led a second team into the forest. They brought radiation detectors. They found landing marks in the ground, 3 depressions in a triangular formation. The radiation readings at the landing site were significantly higher than background levels. Then the lights returned. Halt recorded the entire encounter on a handheld tape recorder. That recording still exists. On it you can hear professional military officers, calm and measured, describing a structured object moving through the trees, beaming light down to the ground, splitting into multiple pieces, and disappearing. Halt filed an official memo to the British Ministry of Defense detailing the incidents. That memo, known as the Halt Memo, was eventually declassified and is one of the most significant official documents in UFO history. It describes, in dry military language, structured craft, radiation anomalies, and multiple credible witnesses over 2 consecutive nights. Now let's talk about the witnesses, because this is where the story gets stranger. Jim Penniston claims that in the moment he touched the craft he experienced something he couldn't explain. A flood of information. A telepathic download. He says he was compelled to open his notebook and write, not words, but binary code. Page after page of ones and zeros, written in a trance-like state that he didn't consciously understand. He closed the notebook and didn't look at it again for years. When researchers eventually decoded the binary, it produced a message and a set of geographic coordinates. The coordinates pointed to locations around the world: the pyramids of Giza, the Nazca Lines in Peru, the Bermuda Triangle, and High Brazil, a mythical island that appears on medieval maps off the coast of Ireland that cartographers have never been able to explain. The decoded message read, "Exploration of humanity continuous for planetary advance." Whether this is a genuine experience, a false memory, or something implanted by an intelligence we don't understand, nobody can say with certainty. But Penniston has never changed his story. Not once in over 40 years. Charles Halt has been equally consistent and arguably more outspoken. A decorated military officer with no history of instability or exaggeration, he has stated publicly and repeatedly that what he witnessed was not of this earth. He has gone further, claiming that both the United States Air Force and the British Ministry of Defense are in possession of information about the Rendlesham incident that has never been disclosed to the public. He has called for full declassification. He has written letters to government officials. He has testified before independent panels. Nothing has been released. The government response to Rendlesham is its own story. RAF Woodbridge was not just any military base. At the time of the incident, it was believed to be one of the storage sites for American tactical nuclear weapons in Europe, part of NATO's Cold War deterrent. The idea that an unidentified craft could penetrate the airspace and land within the perimeter of a nuclear weapons facility without triggering a military response is extraordinary. Either the defenses failed completely, or what happened was known about and deliberately suppressed. The British Ministry of Defence's official position, that the incident posed no threat to national security, has been called one of the most absurd statements in the history of official UFO investigation. If an unknown craft can land next to nuclear weapons without consequence, that is by definition a national security concern. The Freedom of Information battle to release the Rendlesham files took decades. Documents were released in batches, some heavily redacted. What emerged confirmed the basic facts. The Halt memo was real, the radiation readings were real, the witnesses were interviewed by military intelligence. What was never released was any analysis, any conclusion, or any explanation. The files simply documented what happened and then stopped. As if whoever wrote them knew better than to draw conclusions on paper. The Rendlesham Forest incident has never been officially explained. The radiation readings have never been accounted for. The landing marks have never been attributed to a known cause. The Halt tape is real. The memo is real. The witnesses are credible, multiple, decorated military professionals who have maintained consistent accounts for over 4 decades. And the governments of 2 countries have never offered a single satisfactory answer. This is Incident Zero. The files they buried. The stories that survived.